Scrum, as many of us already know, is a goal-driven framework. In the previous video, we have already learned about the product goal. And if you haven't already watched that video, click the card up here to watch that video first, because that video will be referred to throughout today's video. Now, Scrum has another goal called the sprint goal. However, there are quite a few Scrum teams that I have worked with whom do not spend enough time during the sprint planning to scrutinize their sprint goal. I personally think that the Scrum team should not take the sprint goal lightly, because the sprint goal can really affect whether the sprint will become a feature factory or not. So folks, because the sprint goal can really change the game, let's talk about the sprint goal in today's video. And if you do notice that your Scrum team is more like a feature factory, and if you are driven to change that situation by changing how the sprint goal is written down, stick around folks, because we are going to talk about the sprint goal right after this one. Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to my channel. Joshua Partugi here, recording another Scrum content for you from Brisbane, Australia. If you're new to this channel, welcome on board to the community of passionate change makers. And if you have been a long-time subscriber to this channel, welcome back to this channel everyone. And I would like to sincerely thank you for all of your support to this channel until today. Hopefully you are doing something amazing for your customers with your team through the product that you're currently developing. Alright folks, without further ado, let's get back to today's topic. That is the sprint goal. As described in Scrum Guide, the sprint planning starts with a goal in mind. The sprint goal answers the why. This is inspired from the idea Start with Why popularized by Simon Sinek.
People don't buy what you do, people buy why you do it. People don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. The goal is to do business with people who believe what you believe.
Go read his book if you haven't already. Like any kind of goal that is made together by a team, the sprint goal is also created collaboratively by the whole Scrum team during the sprint planning. So it's not being dictated only by the product owner. It's an agreement between the product owner, the Scrum Master, and also the developers. The developers use this sprint goal as a discussion point when making a plan every day during the daily Scrum. So you can say that the sprint goal can affect how the daily Scrum will be implemented by the developers. Some Scrum teams do not have any sprint goal. During sprint planning, they only select the product backlog items that needs to be completed. And sometimes it is dictated by the product owner or by the Scrum Master, which is quite sad. Without a sprint goal, their sprint is more like a mini waterfall. Some Scrum teams explicitly write down their sprint goal, but when you read it, their sprint goal is just a list of product backlog items or scope to be completed. For example, like this one right here. Now when you think about it, it's actually not much different to the teams who do not have any sprint goal at all, because their sprint will also look like a mini waterfall. The sprint goal should not be about the scope of work to be done or the list of product backlog items to be completed by the developers, because that will just limit the room of creativity for the developers. Remember folks that we are working with developers who are smart people that use their intelligence and creativity to solve complex problems. As explained in Scrum Guide, the sprint goal should explain the value of the sprint or the outcome that the customers will get out of the increments the Scrum team will deliver throughout the sprint. The goal of Scrum is not to deliver as many product backlog items as possible or to deliver 100% as planned during sprint planning. Remember that Scrum is not an iterative compressed waterfall. We have to move away from that perception. Having a perception that the developer should deliver everything as planned during sprint planning will only inspire the developers to start gaming their sprint plans or their estimate. Yes, I do acknowledge that this chart that shows committed versus completed that is available in some tools is one of the sources of this misperception about Scrum. And if you think that chart is problematic, do something about it. Like, move away from using that tool, for example. The sprint goal should not dictate the scope of work the developers need to complete in that sprint, because when you do so, that's actually not agile at all. The sprint goal should give rooms of flexibility. That's what Agile is about. The activities and the product backlog items selected should not be the sprint goal, it's a means to the sprint goal. The sprint goal should be about delivering customer outcomes. I have to say once again in this video, we have to keep in mind that the developers are not feature factories. They are problem solvers. After all, Scrum is a framework for solving complex problems. With that in mind, the Scrum team can meet the sprint goal without having to deliver all of the scope they have planned during sprint planning. Many of you have already read the book about the 7 habits of highly effective people. Now, during sprint planning, I like to ask the whole Scrum team to think with the end in mind. I like them to imagine what benefit or outcome the customers will get out of the increments they will deliver throughout the sprint. Now remember, it's outcome, not output. And if you haven't watched my video on outcome over output, you can click the card up here to watch that video first. Besides connecting the sprint goal with the customer outcome, the sprint goal should be connected to the overarching product goal. As we have learned from the previous video, you can say that the sprint goal is a milestone towards achieving this product goal. With that thought process, this is a template that the Scrum team can fill out during sprint planning as a guidance of an outcome-oriented sprint goal. Because the sprint goal should be connected to the product goal, here is an example of a product goal from the previous video. And here is an example of a sprint goal after the template is filled out and orienting it towards the overarching product goal. And here are some more examples of sprint goals that are outcome oriented as an inspiration for you to improve your future sprint goals. You can pause this video if you want more time to read it. And remember folks, whenever you create the sprint goal, you need to connect it to the overarching product goal. If you haven't already got a product goal, then collaborate with your Scrum team to make it transparent first. How the sprint goal is written down affects the developer's behavior throughout the sprint. As the Scrum team is committed to the sprint goal instead of the scope of work, when the sprint goal is customer outcome oriented, the developers will be committed to focus on the customer first. As I mentioned earlier, the sprint goal will affect how the developers implement the daily Scrum. When the sprint goal is oriented towards the customer outcome, the daily Scrum will not become a status update meeting, but instead it will become the team's mini planning session. That's a big difference. And on top of that, how the sprint goal is written down will affect whether you will only have a bunch of people working together or a true team collaborating towards one direction. That's a big difference. When the sprint goal is about the what, the how, or the scope of work that needs to be completed, the sprint becomes a feature factory and a mini waterfall. But when the sprint goal is about the why and the customer outcome, it will give a sense of purpose for the developers throughout the sprint. So, move away from feature factories and mini waterfall that demotivates developers towards a purpose-driven development. So that is all from me today, folks. Hopefully today's video adds value to the time you have spent watching it. And if you do find it valuable, don't forget to click that like button down below, because that will really help me grow this channel and spread our influence towards the world of work even further. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Until my next video, folks, stay curious and continuously deliver something amazing for your customers. Enjoy the rest of your day, everyone. Bye now.